Hey everyone, hey Consciously community. I wanted to talk to you today about when things don't go as planned. So I spent the last 48 hours plus at the ashram, which is like a yogic monastery for those of you who don't know my story, meditating and diving deep. I like to do that every once in a while, once a month or every couple months, just go and lock myself in a room and just meditate. And while I could tell you tons of amazing stories and new insights that I have when I walk away from those weekends and new things that I learn and I see and I dive deep into states of consciousness, this weekend was full of lessons, but really the opposite. When I got there, day one, it was good, dove deep and learned some things and just spent some time with myself. But day two, was just one of those days. And it was interesting is that I closed my eyes and about just a couple minutes into meditation, I saw these dark clouds just starting to form together. And I try to do this one technique where I kind of come up out of my body and go super high up into the universe and I merge with light and whatnot. Sorry, I got something in my eye. And it just wasn't working very well. And then these clouds kind of came back into my mental vision. And about 5 minutes later, after I tried to shake it off because my concentration wasn't working well, they came back again. And I was like, okay, these are some sort of batten down the hatches because today's not going to be the easiest day in your life. And really what wound up happening for the next 12 hours, it was like someone took me, if I was a glass jar with dirt at the bottom and the rest of it water, just took it and shook it up really hard. And I couldn't concentrate. And when I say I couldn't concentrate, like a lot of us struggle with concentration in meditation, but every time I closed my eyes, it was as if I was being pulled out and just like zero concentration, which was very frustrating. And it only got worse. The second I would start to focus on something, the future would come in and I'd just be lost in this thought about the future that I couldn't get rid of, or desires would come in and they would just overwhelm me. And if I'm likening it to a metaphor, it was like, if reaching the top of this mountain, climbing this mountain is self-realization, is finding my deepest sense of self, is that diamond in the rough. And when I reach it, I realize all things, then climbing to get there is kind of like the spiritual path or life, many might say. And for me, this weekend and that day in particular was like, along your climb, here comes a storm, get ready. And like just this down torrential pour of desires and no concentration, future, and all these things just totally in my way, totally blocked me, to where like I felt like every time I tried to move as I'm climbing, I'd slide back 5 feet. I'd try to move left and I'd slide back another 5 feet until I found myself 30 feet down the mountain, just trying to hold my ground and just hold on. And now that I'm removed from yesterday and the frustration isn't there and just the overwhelming inability to do anything right, something that one of the monks told me a long while ago came into my mind, and they said, effort is progress. And sometimes, some days, those meditations and life in general, the days where it feels like you just can't do anything right, where you feel like you're in quicksand. And for anyone who's ever seen the movie The Replacements, the football movie, funny movie, it's a good movie. Shane Falco, the quarterback, talks about quicksand. And he uses that as a metaphor. What he says is that sometimes in a game, you feel like you're in quicksand where everything you do doesn't turn out right. And the harder you fight, the quicker you sink until you're in over your head, because you're in over your head. And that's how I felt yesterday. And that's how life can feel sometimes. And this monk would say, effort is progress. And sometimes holding your ground is far more progress than making 10 or 20 or 30 feet on the mountain climb that day or in that meditation. Which is heartening after a day like that. And so, I talk to a lot of people about meditation, and I'm, depending on how you look at it, I've been meditating for a long time, so I'm somewhat seasoned, but I'm also new. If you look at it from like a 40-year monk perspective, I've only been at it for about a decade. And I just want to let you know that there are those days for all of us, and such is life. There are those days where we feel like we're sliding backwards 10 feet no matter what we do. We just need to hold on and just, even this morning when meditating again, the first couple of things I tried, I would slide back down, and it really took me some time to find my center again and to get back into what it is I know. But I took that time, which I think is also important. After a rough time in life, it's important to take the time we need to recenter. We don't want to continue forth totally off in Never Neverland. We want to come back to our center and then proceed forward. And that took me a couple hours this morning. And I had plans today that I didn't wind up doing. I changed them, and just that spontaneity also helped me snap out of it. And now I feel great. But yesterday, if you're talking to me, I would be ready to just turn this off and not want anything to do with it. So I'd like to bring this to everyone's attention and challenge you or invite you to step into it's okay. It's okay that we have these days. It's okay that we have those times in meditation or in life. And effort is progress. Effort is progress, and sometimes just holding our ground, no matter how much it feels like we're moving backwards, is far more powerful than those days where it feels like everything just goes smoothly. That's when character is built. That's where we unearth parts of ourselves that we might not have known were there. This true strength comes out. The resilience comes out. Just wanted to share that with everyone. I hope you are all having great days, whether it comes through challenge and quicksand or you're climbing really well. And I'll see you next time on the next video.